I don't know if it's the fact that I have a young baby or if it's just the world today, but I have been feeling so overstimulated. I feel addicted to my phone, like my hand is constantly reaching out to grab it for no reason at all. And I know this is kind of silly to say, but noise is driving me crazy. I just need a little detox. I'm craving some silence, I'm craving some stillness, so I have committed to being bored for the next 30 days. No social media, no TV, no YouTube, and no podcasts. I wish I could actually commit and say no smartphone and no computers, but I have to work. I also think that commitment might be a little too far out of my comfort zone. It is day one and I'm feeling very excited. I'm predicting that today is gonna be easy just because it's day one, but then there are probably gonna be some growing pains. I'm probably gonna get pretty uncomfortable. This is honestly really hard, but that's okay. That's what we're here for. We're trying to break some habits. All right, it is day one and it's not even noon yet, and already I am doing the mental gymnastics to try and get out of this. I'm about to do like a 45-minute drive with my daughter, and normally I would listen to a podcast on a drive like this, and so I was thinking, maybe I should just start tomorrow. But no, this is what it's all about. I'm always gonna be able to come up with an excuse for why I need to fill my ears with something, but I don't need to. I can just enjoy the silence, and I'm always allowed to listen to music. That's cool. But I think because of how hard I tried to get out of it just now, I am going to enjoy the silence all the way there and all the way back. I can do it. It's gonna be good for me. Wish me luck. After 2 back-to-back 45-minute drives in complete silence, I was feeling very confident about my commitment to boredom this month. And then really was not prepared for the entire family to get sick during these 30 days, let alone on day 2 of this journey. But alas, here we are. The entire family has a fever. No one's working, no one's going to daycare. Caring for a sick baby while you are sick yourself is one of the hardest things ever. I got up early this morning to watch over Murphy and let Carson sleep in a little bit, and now Carson is watching after her so I can have a little alone time. There's actually a yoga for sickness class under the restorative tab inside of my app, so I think I'm gonna do that right now. Just try to breathe and relax. It's 2:30 on day 2 of 30 days without stimulus. We have come to the decision as a family that we are going to watch some Frozen Planet. The thing about screens and movies and TV and social media is that it distracts you from the present moment. It disconnects you from your body. But when you are feeling like all you want to do is leave your body because you feel that bad, screens are really nice.
Oh.
This is literally our daughter's first screen time in her entire life.
Probably not even gonna like it.
She's right now very interested in the box of Tylenol, so.
Just the box.
That's her activity. That ended up becoming a full week of all 3 of us being incredibly sick and unable to sleep. It was probably the hardest week I've had as a parent since my daughter's been born. So needless to say, we took a little pause on the challenge, but once we were all healed, I reset the clocks and we started back at day 1. All right, that was obviously a massive false start, so let's try that again. And after a week of being sick, this detox was so necessary that it just felt like a piece of cake. I think I honestly expected there to be more of a transitional period. Apparently all I needed was a boundary in place, because this is going totally fine. I found this playlist called Cooking Pasta and Drinking Wine, and it just makes my breaks feel like I'm in a movie. It's so fun. So I decided to keep music in my life for these 30 days because it just feels different than social media. It's not just constantly throwing ads and information in my face. It's setting a mood. I also kind of wanted to reestablish my relationship with it. I feel like I've been opting for the sound of podcasts that I don't even want to listen to for a while now, and I really just want to break that habit. I want to fall in love with music again because I do think that it can add to your life, and this challenge isn't isn't just about making me miserable. It's about tapping back into my intuition and relearning how to fill my own cup. Plus, we love listening to music while we're cooking together as a family, so my husband would never let me cut it out.
It's like 35 degrees. It must be 40 degrees. But I decided to eat outside, which I always do in the summer, but I love to talk myself out of the idea in the winter. Understandably so. It's cold, and if you don't have gloves, it can be a lot, but
pretty early on, I realized that what I'm actually after here is changing my habits around my lunch break on the days that I do work. I'm with my daughter on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I feel I'm pretty good about being fully present with her on those days. And then I've actually always had pretty good boundaries at night too. Carson and I have been putting our phones onto airplane mode starting at 6 p.m. for at least 5 years now. So that leaves Monday, Wednesday, Friday when I'm taking a pause from work to eat. Am I actually taking a pause and resetting, or am I just continuing to blast myself with blue light and filling the silence with noise? What to do if you're not watching something or listening to something while you're eating by yourself?
it's such a nice reset. So nice to just give my eyes a rest and be able to look far distances.
I did a lot of eating outside, which was very cold in February, but I think refreshing.
And there's something about this sound of birds that is just so calming. In my ideal world, I wouldn't also be hearing road sounds, but that's just the fact of life where we live. I'm going to hear the road sounds. So we're going to tune those out, really tune into the birds, the sound of the snow melting, little water droplets dripping off the roof. It's really peaceful.
We're at the end of week 1, and so far what I'm really feeling is that I'm loving the boundary when it comes to the workday. Having structured rest and reset time and time away from screens during lunch is huge, and it's really helping me feel like I have more energy to give in the afternoons. But I'm feeling definitely a hole in my life, especially because a lot of the content that I consume on YouTube is really calming and inspiring content. I feel like I'm missing that inspiration. All right, let's go have a bored lunch. I feel I need to admit that I've been cheating. I guess it's not technically cheating, I'm just making it way harder on myself. So obviously I am not consuming content off of YouTube, but I am still sharing weekly content on YouTube. So I have to get onto the platform. But then what's happening is I'm opening up YouTube, and instead of focusing on my own stuff, I'm getting distracted by all of the videos that are being suggested to me. And I just start scrolling through all these thumbnails that I can't click on. And I'm like making a mental list of all of the videos that I want to watch when these 30 days are done. Like the 30 days are going to end and I'm just going to binge, which is not the point. So I have just made a bookmark out of the YouTube Studio so that I just click YouTube Studio rather than YouTube. But I'm also realizing I don't need to check YouTube Studio all the time. I'm almost treating it like it's Instagram now, because I can't go on to scroll Instagram. Now I'm just like continuously checking my YouTube analytics over and over and over again. But it's just a fixation. I don't need to do that. I can check in like once a day. I think that's reasonable, but I don't need to check it 20 times a day. It is incredible how challenging it is to break these habits. My hands just open things up on my computer or my phone and I can't help but scroll through them. Today marks the halfway point, and I've just been chopping and doing dinner prep, and I have thoughts. I could not care less about Instagram. I don't miss it at all. Podcasts was an interesting transition, but I've realized that I turn on podcasts way more often than I should. Whenever there's silence, if I'm in the car, if I'm cooking, I always just turn one on. Even if there's not one that I necessarily want to listen to, I think I've gotten so used to having just noise on in the background. And honestly, having more silence around in these little moments in between has been really nice. YouTube, this is very hard. I'm feeling a lack in my life. I previously didn't ever really watch YouTube or TV at the end of the day, but now all of a sudden at night I'm craving that screen time, which is really interesting. I feel like I've maybe had a bit of a tendency to just completely demonize screens and media and content altogether, but I'm really learning that there's a nice balance to be struck, I think, and so much good can come out of consuming content. We just want to be intentional about it. Despite the unexpected desire for screens at night, I did not cave. Carson and I played a lot of backgammon, which we love, and I became totally obsessed with this mini crossword book that a friend gave to me. I also did a lot of reading, and I also just started going to bed whenever I felt tired. It seems like such a simple thing, but screen time can obviously mess with our natural circadian rhythm, and I feel like we're just oddly tied to clocks. Previously, I would always say I want to be in bed reading by 9 and asleep by 10, but why? Why do I care what the clock says? If I feel tired, I can just go to bed. My daughter is currently down for a nap, and while I was putting her down and struggling to get her to go down, I was thinking in my head, like, this is when I feel like I really need YouTube. We have just been going all day, and it's been a lot of fun, but it's also really exhausting. And now, like, when she's asleep, it's me time, and I want to just veg out on the couch and relax and do nothing. But obviously I couldn't do that given my commitment this month. But I came out here and I sat down and I thought, I could meditate. I had a daily meditation practice for a full 5 years prior to having my daughter, and I'm pretty sure I have not meditated one time since she's been born, and she is 8 months old. I just totally forgot that this is something that I do and something that could make me feel good. And oh my gosh, like, what a better use of my time right now to reset my mind and body. I feel so good having just done that for 15 minutes. Can I also just say, I feel like I have to acknowledge this postpartum hair loss. Yeesh. 3 weeks ago, I was really at a low point in my mothering journey. I was just feeling like everything was impossible and it was so hard and I was so exhausted. Things just weren't clicking. And at that time, I was sharing openly with Carson what I was feeling and what I was going through. And we started to brainstorm together about what I could do to make a change, to help things feel a little bit easier and more manageable, and to try to help bring the joy back into it a little bit. And I'm just realizing now, all of a sudden, 3 weeks later, my life looks and feels completely different. I feel so much better. I feel grounded as a mom. I just feel so happy with where I'm at in my journey. I love hanging out with my daughter. There are a lot of changes that I've made within these 3 weeks that I think have had a big impact, but it's occurring to me that one of those big changes is also these 30 days of boredom. When I started this journey sort of aligns with when I started feeling better as a mom. In many ways, I'm learning that this is just what motherhood is. There are constant peaks and valleys. Someone told us once when I was pregnant that being a parent is just all ones and tens. It's either the best moment of your life or the worst, hardest moment of your life. So I know I'm in a high right now and I'm feeling really good, but a low is probably right around the corner for me, and that is totally fine and normal, and I welcome it because it's just all a part of this journey. But I can't help but notice that I just feel more vibrant and more present as a mom, and that very well could be because of the elimination of screens and social media. I think I expected to feel more clear-headed and just generally more peace in my life at the end of these 30 days, and in many ways I do. But to be honest, life isn't suddenly perfect. I'm in the middle of the most transformative year of my life. Sleep isn't always perfect. I'm constantly having to adapt as my daughter grows, and I'm trying to balance all of that with growing my business. And it's a lot. Certainly having boundaries around social media and screen time is helpful. And I think breaking the habit of picking up my phone in all those little moments in between in life has been incredibly valuable and absolutely necessary. But I've always demonized all of these things, and so I'm shocked to share that I've learned they actually can hold quite a bit of value in our lives, especially YouTube. It can just be such a place for inspiration, creative sparks, spark, connection, cozy vibes. And honestly, I think that that can apply to Instagram in some ways as well, as long as I don't overscroll. Moving forward, I'm not gonna set any hard and fast rules, except maybe no phones in the bathroom, because that has been really good for me. But I definitely want to continue to be intentional about how and when I welcome these things into my life. I personally can clearly tell the difference between when my cup is being filled versus when my energy is being drained. So I think it's just about trusting my intuition and adapting when things aren't feeling aligned. If that is not also a mantra for motherhood, I don't know what is. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time.